when you tell me when you're ready. So tonight, before we start the new series, I wanted to just over the past, I guess, months, I've been sort of talking with a few people, sharing with people, and today I was in Macca's having a salad, and
She's lost it.
it's just not right. Do I not look like a crispy water kind of guy?
Yeah, you do.
Not in a million years, you know. So feed the man fat and meat, you know. We were talking about last night, actually. We were at, now this is going to sound bad considering I was at Macca's today. We were at Macca's last night, you know. And, right. I had the thin thing, whatever they call that, you know, the wrap. That's thin. And we were sitting there, and after 2 days of Grand Prix, we were sitting at the table just celebrating as a team. It was really cool fun. I love doing that sort of stuff and eating junk food. It was the bestest ever. And there's just nothing better sometimes after you've done a full weekend, you're exhausted, you're knackered, you're emotional, you're whatever, just jamming your face full of fat, you know. So, yeah! Oh, well, maybe it's just me. But anyway, so what I want to talk to you a little bit about tonight is this idea of frenemy. Does anybody know what that is?
I do.
What?
If you're friend by your enemy, you act friends and that you can not get along at the same time. You're kind of civil, but you don't really see them as a friend.
Yeah, yeah. And so this is something, so a frenemy is that. And so often we see that as a person, you know. And do I need to be wearing anything for you, Dale? Are we all good? You're good. Often we can see this as a person. We think, oh yeah, I don't really trust that person, know that person, sussing that person out. And that can often happen at bridge builders too, you know. My best mate was, I was his enemy when he first met me. He hated my guts when he first met me, you know. And he said, nah, this guy. And lucky he was shorter than me. Yeah, get him in a headlock, give him a rub on his head, you know. So, but we became best mates, and that's something like nearly 30 years ago now. And he's that guy that just kind of speaks into my world at times where you ever get with your bestie and they ask you how you're doing. And well, he would get when we get together, we would say, "How you doing?" I go, "Yeah, I'm good." He go, and we would just do this. Both of us would do this, where he'd ask me how I'm doing. I'm going, "Yeah, I'm okay." And he goes, "Oh, I see how it is. Oh, we're at that level. I thought we were at that level, but I get it." I go, "Oh, love you, Rich. He'll be watching tonight." So he lives in Sale, and he's my bestie, and he's that guy that just says to me, when he asks me that question, how are you doing? He doesn't want the surface answer. He wants the answer. He really wants to know how I'm doing. You got a mate like that? How many of you would love a mate like that? Sometimes. You love a mate like that. I always love it. Why? Why do you love a friend like that?
Because they know you.
They know you. And what have they got? Have they got your best interest at heart? The thing I love about Rich, right, one of the things, there's many things, he's a beautiful man, but one of the things I love about him is he's able to give honest reflection to me about stuff that I'm settling for less in my life. Sometimes that's the people I mix with, and sometimes that's my own attitude, my own ways of thinking, my own mindset. You know, I don't know about you, but sometimes I find myself locked in a mindset of things that just spirals me out of control. And it usually happens for me when I lay down in bed. I lay down and I lie there for a minute, and then whoosh, all this stuff from the day, the week, the month, the year, the lifetime comes flooding back, and I find it an inability to sleep at that point. And if I keep thinking about these particular issues, some things in my life, I begin to do this thing.
Spiral.
I begin to spiral. And what happens is, my emotions might have been at this level, and then they begin to go south. I start to get this gut feeling of sick, and I start to get this feeling that in my life right now, oh, when they said that, maybe they really meant. Or maybe they, yeah. Oh, yeah, did they? have a go at me and I didn't really know it? You ever had that kind of friend that's a bit sarcastic and they sort of say something to you in fun and then you go away and think about it later and go, oh, bitch, you know? I got boyfriends that I call bitches, right? So, you know, they're like that. They're those guys who go, oh, I know what he meant by that. There's that kind of feeling that somebody speaks to you and then it's kind of like a slap in the face when you actually go away and think about it. And you might go, you laugh it off to start with, and then at the end of it, you just kind of think, oh, what did they mean by that? And here's the thing for us. There are things in our mind, in our heart, in our life, one up, that we think about at times that maybe the perspective is wrong. Right? What are these?
Glasses.
What's that?
Eyes. Eyebrows. Nose. Nostrils.
That was a pretty good drawing, just saying, you know. But anyway, clap that. All right, so the thing is, we look at things sometimes in a way that's just kind of like, this is how it is. Have you ever had that? And somebody will come along, like my friend Richard, and he'll say, I'll say, mate, you know, that situation, what that person said, and he goes, he stands on this side and he says, dude, really? That's not how I read that. This is how I saw that situation. And I would stand there and go, no, mate, it's not like that at all. It was like this, you know. And he goes, dude, take a chill, man. Like, this is not what it was like. This is what they meant. And I'd go, maybe he's right. So the fact is that sometimes when we focus on something, it becomes to this point where we begin to spiral out of control. And if you don't have somebody that intersects that point of thought, what happens to you?
Existential crisis.
Existential crisis. Well, that's something you could have, yes. What else? Hey?
You keep going.
You keep going where?
Down.
Spiraling down. What's your lowest point of spiral?
Suicide.
Pardon?
Suicide.
Yeah, death. Right? So death. Years ago, we used to have this, it was like a trendy word out there. It was a lot of young people were saying, oh, I just feel like I want to kill myself. Yeah, and I saw some people's eyes going, oh, well, I heard that all the time, you know. And years ago, there was this moment. Now, we had a year where 12 young people decided that that was their year to take their life. 12 in a year. By the end of that year, the leadership team in this organisation said, oh, we'll tap out, we're out, we're done. We're not having another year like that. And it became this language of discussion, of like this trendy thing. I know how to get attention, I'll just say I'm going to kill myself. And several people did. And so there was this idea that there was this thought process that spiraled to a point where people thought that the only way out was death. There's a new word. Do you want to know what the new word is?
What? Cope.
How many of you can't cope? That should be everybody's hand at some point. Yeah? There are times in my life when I can't cope with life. I feel like a situation might happen in my life. I begin to think about things. I begin to think about who can I talk to. I begin to think about I'm not able to manage what's happening to me. I can't cope. Is it still real?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because why?
Because everyone sees things differently.
Everybody's perspective is whatever's happening out here right now is in my mind and I can't cope with what's going on in my life. We've all had I can't cope moments. There's no question here at Bridge Builders that we're going to challenge that idea that you can't cope. Is this a hard subject for someone to talk about?
Yeah.
Is it hard for you to listen to right now?
Yeah.
Good. Good. Do you know why? Because you're here. So you can cope. You made a decision tonight, regardless of how you feel, to turn up here tonight. I was talking with a friend earlier and they said to me, just not doing so well. I said, okay, let's talk about that. So I'm sitting in Macca's today with a lady and I was having a coffee and she began to share what she was not coping with in her life. I felt it was an amazing privilege to actually sit there. Every time someone shares with me, I find it an amazing privilege. I have this thing, do you know what Davy Jones' locker is?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have this idea that when someone shares something with me, it's like Davy Jones's locker. It opens up, someone shares something with me, and I close it in there and I protect it. And I say, this is a precious thing that somebody just shared with me. So we're sitting in Macca's today. Had Calvin there.
What?
I had Calvin in Macca's.
Didn't let him in.
He had nuggets, you know. Good stuff. How do you feel? That's all right. People aren't doing what right now? Yeah. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Of course it's okay. It's okay to be upset. It's okay not to cope. Do you know why? Because then you've got people that reach out to you and say, how can I help you cope? It's when we don't say something is when it becomes a problem. So this person says to me today, they start sharing with me today, and they say to me, blah, 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 and I looked at her and I said, you know what? You know what's a challenge right now? I said, it feels like there's no oxygen for you right now. You know what she did? What do you reckon she did? Thanks. Soon there'll be one person left in the room, we'll be right. It's okay. It's okay to laugh, all right? Just relax, okay? If you feel like you've got to run out, that's okay. What I encourage you to do is stay, because I'm going to give you some tips on how to cope. So what I need you to do right now, if you're not coping with life right now, I need you just to breathe. To see, this is where it gets real. When we were laughing the other week about us all stuck in a lift, we just had to learn how to breathe little bits, you know. We couldn't take big breaths because there was not a lot of oxygen in there. Isn't that right, Josh Baldry? And a person my size takes a deep breath, you know. So, no, it's too soon. I know, it's too soon. It's too soon. There are moments in our life, and this is no BS, guys. There is moments in our life where we can't cope and we don't know who to talk to. That is perspective is wrong. That's a wrong perspective. So the challenge is this person says, I shared with her, it looks like you have no breath left for you. So what did she do? She burst into tears at the table in Macca's.
Her emotions.
Why? Because she was full of being able not to share and to cope.
And finally have someone to share with is a big weight lifted off your shoulders.
Of course
So
it
when
is.
you do finally share, it's really emotional.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Our frenemies, this is a friend that is actually our enemy. And I'm talking about what goes on in your mind at times, in my mind. There are times where there are things that I have practiced. When I was younger, I was an attention seeker. You know, I tried to be the class clown so that nobody knew what was really going on in my life. So I began to develop this behaviour, and I was always in the principal's office. Back then it was the strap, you know, or the cane or whatever you called it, and they don't do that now, but yeah, it was but back then there was this opportunity where you could get to meet the principal in a really loving way. Took off his belt and let you have it, you know, and it was just, I love you, you know. So the challenge is, quite simply, that we develop thinking and we develop patterns of behaviour, and it becomes our friend. It becomes a way of doing life day after day the same way, and it seems to get the same attention. What's the problem with that?
You're doing the same thing.
Doing the same thing. No. What's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
Love that, yeah. That is the definition. Doing the same thing day after day after day and expecting that somehow, some way down here, it's going to end up having a different result. If you take ingredients for a cake and you do it exactly to the, what do they call the
Recipe.
thing? Oh yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I was going to say the menu. You know, you can see I'm a cake baker. I'm a cake eater, but not really. But anyway, you can take the recipe, and if you fulfil the recipe, what's your guarantee? Pretty much.
Getting a cake.
Exactly the same cake, the same way every time. Bonnie, you're a baker. Where's Bonnie?
Bonnie.
Yeah? Oh yeah. Baker, dough, knead, rise, cook,
bread.
eat. Yeah. Well, whatever. It's still the same thing. I'm talking about the recipe. You've got to put the stuff together the same way, you get the same result, right? So if that's the recipe, now what happens when you take an ingredient out of a cake?
It just flops.
It's an awkward thing. Yeah. Exactly, it depends on what you take out. Some things we could take out of a recipe and it won't alter the mix at all. So what about if we learnt tonight to take out some of the things out of the recipe? that it wouldn't affect your life. Actually, it would create a different cake. The end result would be an amazing outcome. But see, this stuff happens in here. And unless you cut your head off, this thing, and I'm not suggesting you do that, right? That's not a good thing to do. What happens in here is it's hard to control what goes on in here. And yet, what happens in here can be the noise, this friendly thing that just keeps telling us over and over and over, I'm ugly, I'm no good, I'm never going to cope, I'm never going to be anyone's friend, I'm never going to get anything. And do you know what the challenge with that is? What's the challenge with speaking that out all the time?
Start to believe it.
Yeah, absolutely you do. Whatever we speak out, that's exactly what you attract back. That's exactly what you... Call it speaking out to the universe, I don't care what it is, but what your confession is, what you speak out of your mouth, is exactly what you attract. So you speak out, geez, I'm fat. What do you see when you look in the mirror?
Fat.
Geez, I'm ugly.
Thank you.
What do you see? Every time. Now people can come up to you and say, wow, you look amazing. What's the first thing you do?
No, I don't.
So not, sister. I don't know who you're looking at, you know.
That's not a joke. That's not a funny
So
joke at all.
it's not. But the fact is, how many of you have tried to say great things to a friend? Just, you look amazing, you're hot, your personality is amazing. And what do they say back to you?
Thank you.
Thank you. Hopefully they say thank you. That would be rare, but cool, you know.
Most of the time they say no.
They deflect, don't they? They say, no, I'm not. So why do we say it then?
In hopes that it makes them feel better.
Yeah. What is it within us that doesn't want to accept it?
Our mind.
Yeah?
What you've been through can also impact it heavily.
Yeah. But you might have just spoken about it for 15 years. You might have just spoken about it over and over and over again. Is this an easy thing to fix?
No.
Why?
Because once you say something enough times, you actually start to believe it, and to go back from what you've said so many times is a really difficult process, and it might take years, it might take therapy, it might take actually going out and having a doctor prescribe you medicine.
Absolutely. All of those things help. All of those things you said. Well done, that's so cool. So here's the thing, guys. It is difficult to get rid of friends, isn't it, sometimes?
Yep.
Isn't it?
Only
Because if we got rid of all of our friends, now I did this when I was 19 years old. Some of you would know, I was not a pleasant young person. I ran with a particular group of men, and I met this girl, and the ultimatum from my cohort of gentlemen was you either give her up or you give us up. Girlfriend, fighting, hanging out with blokes. Hot girlfriend, hanging out with blokes. Awesome hot girlfriend that kissed awesome, hanging out with my mates. Hot, awesome girlfriend, kissing and other things. Buying me lunch. Macca's. Salad. She ever bought that, she's dumped. You know, so anyway. So there's a fine line, man. You know, so I put up with most things, but don't buy me salad. So the thing is this, guys, simply. So I was faced with an ultimatum. So what did I decide to do?
Hot chick.
Hot, kissable chick. Saturdays for the boys. Saturdays for the boys. You know what the problem was? When I left that group of men, they said, we never want to see you again. Now, these was a group of guys that I had gone through some incredible things on the street with, you know, and they said, it's her or us. And I said, then it's her. And so I found myself in this very lonely place, even though I had the hot, kissable, salad-buying chick, you know. I have found myself in a place where there was this sense of loneliness and isolation, and just like, I got nothing. I got no one that I can turn to, no one I can talk to, no one I can... So it takes risk to unfriend your friend. Some of us I've seen on Facebook go through and go, I'm doing a sweep of my Facebook, and it's like, and then you see people's responses. You ever seen that, where someone goes, oh, I'm still your friend, because you've kept them? I don't know if they swept them out or not, you know, but somebody says that. So here's the thing, guys. It is very difficult to get rid of a mindset that is something that you keep telling yourself and everybody else. It's very difficult to change that. The only way to change it... Now, Brussels sprouts are my enemy.
Never had one.
You don't want to.
I bow down and worship. So the challenge is, how many of you have got a veggie in your life that you think, asparagus, you know? Yeah, what is it?
Broccoli.
Oh, come on.
Oh, broccoli, come on. Brock. You know, Brock's had a rough run. You know, come on. Bit of cheese on the Brock, he's a bit of all right, you know? So, hey, all right, broccoli it is.
I hate cauliflower.
Brock and collie go together, mate. Come on, what's happening here? It's Australia. Right, what else?
I have three.
Three.
I hate three of them.
What is it?
Tomatoes.
Yeah?
It's a fruit. Tomatoes are fruit.
Okay, anyway, keep going. Let's go. Yeah.
Tomatoes.
Zucchini.
It's not that bad. Zucchini.
Have you got three?
The other one will end.
Just
Yeah.
tomatoes.
Can't think.
You can't think then, you don't hate it.
Onion.
I can see, here you go. So here's the thing.
Really red.
Listen, here's the thing. I want to leave you tonight, guys. I want to leave you with a strategy, and this is going to be the thing that will change your life. I guarantee it changed my life because I was able to stop my mind from bending me out of shape, and I had to learn how to recognise an enemy when it was coming towards me. The problem was most of the enemies of my mind came as my friend. Most of the friends that were sticking around in my mind were the things that I had actually introduced. I brought in, I'd asked in.
Trojan horse.
Hey?
Trojan horse.
Well, I just invited all these things in and began to believe it. So, and Beck will tell you this, and I think Mary will tell you this too. Over the past 4 or 5 years, wherever I am, wherever I go, people take a liberty to call me fat. I don't know what it is. I just call myself thick. All right? I'm just thicker than some.
Extra lovable.
Thank you. But people I've never met before would come up to me and say, mate, you could do with losing some weight. So, what do you think you begin to believe?
Believe it.
You believe
You
it.
need to go to the gym every day.
Can we do it once a week? You know, so here's the thing, guys. In your mind, I don't care who you are. I don't care whether you're 50 or whether you're 15. Every single person here struggles with frenemies. Every single one of us. There are things that people say to us and things that we say to ourselves that affect us. There are people who say things to me, I couldn't care less. But when I start saying it to me, when I start believing it, then it becomes my friend. The only way to get it out of your mind and to get it out of your heart is to make it an enemy. You direct it towards something like you hate. Now, hopefully it's not a person. But if you direct it to something that you hate, then that'll help you cope with what's happening in your world. If you continue to confess, here's the thing. Here's the tip I learned a long, long time ago. I can't change anybody's life. Not my kids, not my ex-wife, not my life. Well, I can change mine, I guess. I can't change my best friends. I can't say to Richard, blah, 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 unless he's prepared to listen. There's one thing that you can't do, is you can't change anybody's life. Is that true?
You changed mine.
Yeah, because you chose to allow me to change it.
True, but still.
Mitch said before, blah, 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 we're talking about assets, and he said, no, listen to that, and there were so many levels. I think, wonderful, thanks, man. That was... You know, that made me feel like totally rocking, dude. You know, that maybe there was something I shared with you one night that was able to help alter the direction of your life. That is an absolute honour and a privilege, man, totally. So thanks so much. So what I've realised is I can't change anybody's life. I can share some things, I can encourage them, I can hug them, I can buy them Maccas, but at the end of the day, I can't change anybody's life. Who's the only person I can change?
You.
Yourself.
Unless we own, sorry about this, unless we own our own shit.
Yes.
The bottom line is you will never change things in your life because your confession, what comes out of this orifice in the front of your face, will be the very thing you confess is the very thing that you will attract back. So be careful of the words you speak. Be very careful of the words you speak out, because you'll get what you speak out. If you speak out against your friends, your friendship circle will begin to crush. If you speak out ugly, you will begin to attract ugly. If you speak out great things, amazing things, powerful things, where you look at other people like Mitch and say, thanks, man, you are a great young man. I've heard Josh Baldry brag about you over and over and over again, and he has said to me that there is leadership in this young man, and it is a privilege to walk alongside him. True? They're his words. How do you feel? Awesome. See what did I attract back? Awesome. He felt awesome. Not about me, about him. How many of you would love to have someone talk to you and say to you that you are fantastic, but able to articulate exactly why you're awesome?
Yep.
Would you love to do that? Maybe in your packs tonight you could have a crack at that. And you know what the problem is? Most of us will sit there when someone starts to affirm us and they'll go, oh, it's BS. They're just saying it because Phil said. How about you took 1 degree and changed what you thought about you tonight and just started to say, you know what? I can cope. I can cope. You are extraordinary young people. I watched 17, 19 young people on the weekend serve and deliver an event for 1,000 young people, and they were faced with all kinds of opposition over the weekend. And you know what? I looked out there and I saw our big Bridge Builders team standing up and saying to you, to all of that. I saw that inside. Did you not see that? I walked up to Emily and Haley at the top, where they'd just been abused by people on the track, and I said, how you doing? They go, we got this. And I go, oh, yeah, they have, I watched Mega Crash Corner, Bonnie's walking out later on with a sore foot because that barrier had crushed her foot, and she's going, I got this, I can turn over another one. I saw Susan standing on the corner, and people were like, and she goes, oh yeah, and I could see that kind of look in her eyes of like all kinds of things we can't say on camera or in private, but you know what I mean, those kind of sugar honey iced tea words. So the fact is that she stood there and took it and said, you know what, it's like Teflon. What is Teflon, Josh Baldry?
The strongest chemical bond known to man.
The strongest chemical bond known to man. So how about we get some Teflon skin?
Woohoo!
How about we get some Teflon? There will be parents, brothers, sisters, friends that will speak things to you. You just got to let it skid off. You just got to let it skid off. Because if you begin to believe it, you will begin to not cope and you'll begin to believe it. Only you can change you. Only I can change me. If I want to change my diet, my look, what do I have to do?
Do it yourself.
I have to at some point get up and go to the gym. So, confession. A friend of mine introduced me to this guy, Ronnie. Right? Now, if you've seen Ronnie, if you're watching Ronnie, you're smoking hot, dude. So Ronnie is hippie, 6'6", 6'6", the most incredible dark skin. And he is as buff as a tank, I saw him in his gym gear the other day when I went there. And I went, I looked at his bottom and I thought, that's not real. That can't be real. That has to be an implant. I'm just fessing up. He knows I said it, And I said, that bottom can't be real. And then he flexed and went, oh, damn it. This guy, then he showed me a picture from 4 years ago of what he looked like. The two contradictions were phenomenal. When I looked at this guy that was weedy, old looking, and now he's magnificent, has a hot girlfriend, that is in fitness and health, and they both bounce off one another and confess to one another how amazing, how healthy, how well they are. And he goes to actually eat something, and she says, really? He goes, you're right. I'm putting stuff into this body that I shouldn't be putting in. And now they help people get their goals, achieve their goals. So a friend of mine says, Phil, I'm booking you in. We're going. We're going along last Thursday. So it was after Anzac Day. I was like, 6 a.m. Croydon. So I had to get up, right? I get up. Got my son motivated-ish, and we go, his girlfriend, we're all going for this fit sesh, so I get out and go, right, I got this, I was in my shorts, whatever. Anyway, I got my runners on, got my singlet top on, because, and then I put a jumper over top, because it was, anyway, what you say. So, and then I got my bottle of water, and then I'm raging through the house for one of those towel things, hand towel, sweaty towel. I'm thinking I'm already sweating, I'm not even gone yet. The thought of exercising, So we go to the gym, get in the car, and we're all whinging in the car. We're all whinging. Adam, if you're watching this, Adam, you're so dead. So Adam says, yeah, we're obligated. So we get there. There's all these people working out, sweating it on, and I'm going, and then Ronnie says, yeah, all right, you guys grab a seat. He says, go to sleep, you can watch.
What?
I said,
Get motivated!
I said, eh? I had my towel, I had my water, I had the cozzy, you know. I was ready to rock it out there and lift my 1.5 kilos, you know. And I thought, yeah. He stood 4 chairs up, and we sat there and we watched. An hour and a half. I said, any moment now, it's going to change. We're getting up. At the end, he comes over and he says, so how'd you go? I said, it was the best fitness session I've ever had. I like this kind of fitness. Macca's? And he said, yeah. He says, you know what? He says, until you're ready to change, you don't get the right to step onto the floor. He says, because I value my time and I value what I'm going to do to you. So here's the thing. I'm telling you how real this gets, right? It's an everyday thing. So I'm going to show you a photo. Not of him, because that would just be like, oh God, you know. So I'm going to show you a photo. Oh, I can't even see I need my glasses. Anyway, I've got to get this photo. I'm going to show you something, because I took it to him and I said to him, this is what I want to look like. You want to see my photo?
Yep. Photoshop at its finest.
It'll be, it's going to be like that.
You want to see it?
Yeah.
This is a private moment, right?
Yeah, cool.
Me and 600 others, right? So I'm not going to show them. Sorry, you're going to have to, you're not in the rooms. So I'm going to show you.
Oh,
Yes.
This is my photo.
You have to dye your hair.
I'll have to dye my hair. It's sort of the Sean Connery look there. Do you want to know how old that guy is?
49.
He's in his 60s.
He's 67 years old. I figure I've got a little bit of time. And he goes, well, you're not going to look. He says, are you prepared to do what it takes? He says, you know what it takes to get like that? He says, it's not just lifting weights. He says, you have to change what's in here. I went, damn it. Frenemy. He said, you have to make unhealthy lifestyle and unhealthy thinking an enemy. That's how you'll get that. Because that's just lifting weights, dude. But I could get you that physique over the next 4 years. But the reality is, unless what changes in here, you're never going to feel like you look like that. So guys, this is my encouragement to you. I've been to counsellors, I've been to psychologists and psychiatrists, I've done all that, I've been medication stuff in my life and through all that sort of stuff. At the end of the day, it comes down to the first choice you have to make is, do you really want to change?
Most people are going to say no, because it's hard work.
Yeah. I said, is there not a 10 o'clock session? That's more civilised. You know what he said? We don't train after 7:30. I said, good, PM works for me. He says, AM. All of our training is from 5:30. I said, so what? 5:30 to 7:30. And he models what that lifestyle is. Not just tells everybody, he says, unless you want this, I can't give it to you. I can't motivate you. I can't get you out of bed. You've got to want it. So guys, here's the thing for all of us. If we're not, we all have times of not coping. A couple of suggestions for you is you need to find somebody like my Richard that is somebody that loves you and is for you, but has the wisdom to be able to give you advice and change the way or give you strategies on how to change your mindset. The first thing you have to watch is what comes out of this hole in the front of your face. Because whatever you speak out is whatever you draw back. Because you ever seen that thing they use? If you've, they use this thing called a megaphone. You ever seen the old school one?
Yep.
Has a handle on it like that? Well, mate, if you just hold that in the air, what does it become?
Louder.
Yeah, no, but if you turn it up this way, what does it become?
Speaking to nothing.
Pardon?
Speaking to nothing.
No. What does it look like?
It becomes
Big
quieter.
pardon? A funnel. Who said that? James? Who's that? Nathan? It becomes a funnel. Whatever you're speaking out, this is what draws back in. So guys, we can spend years and years and years trying to cope or not cope. All of us have times of not coping, and it's okay. It's okay not to cope. But not coping alone is a challenge, because what happens in your mind can spiral out of control and give you the wrong perspective, and you begin to speak out the stuff that's actually not true. So maybe you could make a commitment that whenever somebody says to you, you look amazing, you look beautiful, you smell great, whatever it is, I love hanging out with you, you play music so amazing, you know, that you begin to believe it. You begin to think that this is possible. Right now in this room, there'll be minds that are actually switching off and go, yeah, that's okay for everybody else, but not me. Because you don't understand. You don't know what my life is like. You have no idea what goes on. I'm mental inside my head. I'm mental inside my head sometimes, trust me. I'm Gemini, so I've got split personality, so whatever. So the fact is this. Do you want life? I'm not just talking about breathing. I'm talking about life. Do you want to be someone that takes what you know and who you are and you impart that into other people's lives? I met these two boys. I moved into the street just over the back here, and I met these two lads, you know. They're the only people, I've been there 2 years now, and they're the only people, apart from my one neighbour, that I have met in that entire street. But do you know what these two boys do?
What?
They know every single person in the entire street. They're amazing. Will and James are amazing. I look at them and they're walking up and down the street. They bring people's bins in. They say good day to them. What a couple of legends.
Did they bring the bins out?
I can't even get my own boys to do that, man. You know, so the challenge is that these guys can sometimes feel like a bit awkward around, you know, certain environments, and yet they're walking the street saying good day to the entire street. You guys are amazing. I love these boys. I love them. They come over and they pull the paper out of and I say I can throw the bills in the bin, you know, but they pull the bills out for me too. I love you. Yeah.
I know most of my people in my street as well.
Do you? Now, I lived in a street sometimes where people didn't want to know me. I get that. I start my hail at 5:30 in the morning. People don't want to know me. They go, that guy. So here's the thing for you guys tonight. I want to leave you with something. The first thing you have to do is you have to stock take what's going on in your head. You have to stock take what's going on in your head. Because if you don't, write notes down. I learned a cool thing from a young man tonight. He says he takes a book and he writes all stuff down in it. Oh man, I get like that at night time. I used to have a notebook beside my bed, and I'd get up when my mind was, I'd probably go to sleep for about an hour and I'd wake back up and then my brain is buzzing about stuff, and I just have to write stuff down and then lay it down and I could go back to sleep. Now I use my phone. I get up and then in the morning I wake up and go, who even wrote that stuff? That's magnificent. You know, hey, it's some really intelligent stuff. Who else was in here? You know, so maybe Calvin was adding some text. You know, so the challenge for us guys is simply this. Your frenemy, if you have a friend, a behaviour, a thought process that keeps coming around and around and around and causes you to spiral to a point where you don't do anything, it's your friend. And you need to be careful what comes out of that little orifice in the front of your face. Or the big orifice, if you've got a larger one. You know, so the challenge, guys, simply, this is stuff, I mean, you'll go to psychologists and psychiatrists until the cows come home. This is the stuff you get for free. Be careful what you confess. Be careful what you speak out, because when you speak it out, there's this massive funnel out there that's just sucking it all back in.
Funnel back
Yeah?
on the top of your head.
Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. And find a friend. There is probably, there have been a couple of guys in my life that have just spoken into my life incredibly. Some of those friends are still in my life and some are not, and that makes me sad. But at the end of the day, even though those friends aren't in my life anymore, they had an incredible part to play in my journey as a person because I was willing to listen. I would I would die for Richard. Richard is my best friend, and he is an incredible man serving his community. And I wished I met him when I was a teenager. I met him when I was in my 20s, you know, and I was spewing. I mean, it was great, but I was spewing that it took so long. I wonder if you're a friendable person. I wonder if you're that kind of person that someone could come and share with you, and they know you're never going to reject them, but you are going to speak the truth to them. You know, I've known Ellie a long time, and the fact is, Ellie's the kind of person that speaks her mind. She tries to word it in a way at times that's gentle and caring, and it's just straight, you know, and you go, oh. She's like a beautiful way. She thinks about, how can I say this to someone? I want to confront a behaviour or a thought pattern, but I need to think about how to speak that, and she's incredible at that. Isn't that right, Josh? All the time. You know, so it's not about being like me. I don't make a good counsellor. If you've ever been with me as a counsellor, I'm not a good counsellor. I'm not. Why?
Because you love people too much.
Well, yeah, I do love them. I'm too blunt. Yeah, I just kind of say, look, this. Oh, you're banging on about that again? You know, in my head. But the fact is, because that's how I speak to myself. Oh, Phil, you're banging on about that. So, guys, when you're going into your packs, I want you to think about this. I don't want Bridge Builders ever to be just a place where you come and just feel like, oh, that was fluffy, that was lovely. It's the charity changing the lives of young people. That's our slogan. Changing the lives of young people. And sometimes we need a good brain scrub. We need our own brain scrubbed out sometimes. And trust me, own your own shit. Own your own behaviours, your own stuff, your own tantrums, your own attention-seeking behaviour. Just own it and go, I am such an awesome person, you know, because I'm so needy. And then once you confess that, you can say to people, help me with that. You might need to go and speak to a counsellor. You might need medication. There might be some chemical imbalances. So all that's real. But do something and make sure that your confession. So when you go into your packs tonight, I encourage you, don't stay here. And packs, here's the thing for you. There are people who are in your pack that want to share and trust you. Are you a trustworthy person that if someone shared something that was deep and meaningful, that you would take your Davy Jones chest and you would open it up and go, put it in there, boom. That's how amazing it is. That's how the privilege of hearing somebody's story, the privilege of hearing someone's pain is just a privilege. It's an incredible privilege. When someone's not coping, you better be that copy person. Are you a copy person? Look at the person next to you and say, I'm so copy. I'm so copy. Black women do that better than a white man, you know. But anyway, so guys, I want to encourage you, before we're going to start a series, not next week, that's going to be amazing next week, but the week after, the guys have designed the next series. It's just going to be about dreams and aspirations. It is going to be a phenomenal series. But I felt like unless we can deal with what's going on in our cranium, at times, in this part of our head, whatever we're dealing with here, we can't begin to dream and have aspirations unless we start to control this noggin and start to control what we're telling and what we're speaking out of it. Just for a month, give yourself an amazing opportunity to speak well of every single person you bump into, and speak well of everything that you come in contact with. Speak well of it. Say when you look in the mirror, damn, that's good looking. Damn, however you want to say it. Could that be cool? Could you try this for 1 month and see what difference it makes? I can tell you one thing that'll happen. Your friendship circle will change in a month. Your friendship circle will change in 1 month, guarantee it. 30 days, you start changing the way that you speak, your friendship circle will change, because you'll realise just how drawdown it is. Yeah? Anyway, that's my thoughts. If I can share anything with you, can help anyone. That's it. Let's pack it out.
Hi guys, welcome to another Monday night at Bridge Builders. If you've been here 4 times, you are eligible for a BAB. Now, I would say we have a card to stamp, but actually we have a newbie card design competition happening here at Bridge Builders. So if you're artistic and you want to draw up a new design for BB, you can. So Alex is running this competition, so if you have any ideas, if you've already drawn up an idea, send it through to Alex and they'll be decided, I don't know when, so you can cut that bit out. We also have a 5-cent campaign happening here at Bridge Builders, so we're aiming to raise 1 million 5-cent pieces. Look everywhere for these 5-cent pieces. Look in your couch, in the BB couches, behind your ear, at the bottom of your mum's car. Try and find them, and if you'd like a bucket to collect these 5-cent pieces, go speak to Naomi and she'll gladly sort you out with one. Pooh! We also have our 500 club here, so we're aiming to get 500 members to donate $1 a day to change one life. Now we're going to go over to Tyler at the GP for some more news. Bing.
Thank you there for that pass over, Keely. And I'm sure, as a lot of you noticed, we are not actually in the office. This is no fancy green screen. We're actually here. Like, look how far back I can move. Look, I'm all the way over here. Oop, don't trip on the cord. It's all the way over here. So this is nothing fake. We are here. This is live at the Knox. Well, it's live when I'm saying this. It's yesterday for you. Anyway, we're here live. We're here at the Knox Grand Prix, and I'm here to talk to you about our upcoming social day. Now, this is coming up on May 12th, so mark that down in your diaries. You can check the app and say you're going through that if you want, as Keely spoke about so nicely before. So if this is something you're willing to come to, you can either sign up for that event through our Facebook. There will be a sheet passed around on the night, so if you're interested, be sure to mark that down in your diaries. Now, again, I'll go through the details very quickly. May 12th. Let's see, 10 AM to 2 PM, meeting at the office, and the price is $25, lunch fully catered for. So, if this sounds like something you're interested in, another social day out with the crew, kind of like what we did with our beach day at the start of the year, be sure to sign up, and we will see you all there on May 12th at 10 AM to 2 PM. Don't forget, $25. Back to Keely.
Thanks for that, Tyler. We also have our 14th annual business breakfast coming up on the 24th of May. I encourage you all to get involved. Click going on the Bridge Builders app. Make sure you click going on the app. There will be no sign-up sheets. Get on the app. Gavin Smith is the guest speaker at the business breakfast, and he is the president of Bosch.
Got to be very careful here because I'm standing on the roof of something I probably shouldn't be. So, thanks for that last little bit, Keely. Now, as you can see, again, here we are, Knox Grand Prix. Standing on the roof of something I probably shouldn't be. It's really, look at that, wobble the camera. Shouldn't do that. If I break it, it's bad. Anyway, so here we are, Knox Grand Prix. As you can see, lovely view of all our tents setting up of all the schools. Lovely view of everyone out there getting ready to race today. So, without any further ado, let's cut to some of the events and action of the day. That all looked pretty well, nice and good. So if you're at the event, you got to see that firsthand. Well done. Thank you for your help and assistance at the event. Those of you who didn't come, you just get jealous and you get the help out next year.